was woman, and she was African.
In the beginning was woman, and she was African.
In the beginning was woman, and she was African.
In the beginning was woman, and she was African.
Auset, an African sisterhood, was founded in 1988 at Spelman College by 23 women united as one for a journey into African womanhood. Auset, an African sisterhood, is an organization of African women united in commitment to the education and the liberation of African people throughout the diaspora. The group was founded in revolutionary response to the racism, sexism, and classism inherent in modern Western society. In addition, Auset, an African sisterhood, champions women's social and political interests and promotes their solidarity vis-a-vis Kemet Asen.
Aset, the ancient Kemetic Neteru, the original Holy Mother, mother of Heru, wife of Asar, Aset, divine, goddess of healing and of light, protector of all people, mother of all. It is the energy of Aset that lives within us, all which enables us to birth ideas, beliefs, and concepts. As African people, we understand the concept of complementarity. We understand that balance is necessary for the true liberation of our people. As daughters, wives, sisters, mothers, aunties of Aset, it is our sacred duty to plant seeds of sacred thoughts, deeds, and actions. We do this so when we meet our sister Ma'at, your heart will indeed be as light as a feather. Dearest sons, dearest brothers, dearest husbands, dearest fathers, by speaking these words, these metu meter, you will breathe life into things that were formless. You will breathe life into and give birth to ideas, beliefs, concepts that you will nurture and feed. Will you call upon Aset that lives in you to help rebirth and rebuild our African nation?
There is weakness in strength. There is strength in weakness. If so, will you protect your brothers and help heal your sisters? The 42 declarations of innocence are a way of speaking your truth to God, the ancestors, and the Neteru. Please let the ashe of your voice confirm that you will rebuild our African nation. Sometimes the protector needs to be protected. Sometimes the protected needs to protect.
Okay.
I have not led my brother astray, and I have encouraged them to help them continue on the righteous path of African liberation and freedom. Brothers, respond in Ashe.
Ashe.
I have not behaved with violence and approached my brothers with ill intent. Brothers, respond, Ashe.
Ashe.
I have not cursed my brothers in thought or in deed. Brothers, respond, Ashe.
Ashe.
I have not caused the destruction of peace of my brothers, their families, their wives, or their children. Brothers, respond.
Ashe.
There is strength in weakness. There is weakness in strength. I have not behaved with violence toward women, children, and the elderly. Brothers, please respond. Ashe.
Ashe.
I have not spoken angrily, nor have I been disrespectful to my mothers, sisters, daughters, and wives. Please respond, brothers.
Ashe.
I have not acted with insolence, and nor closed my ears to the divine wisdom of my mothers, daughters, sisters, or
Now you are our beloved sons, our beloved brothers, our beloved husbands, our beloved fathers. By speaking these words, Medu Neter, we have breathed life into things that were formless. We have breathed life and gave birth to ideas, beliefs, and concepts that you will nurture and feed. You have spoken your intent to the Neteru, the ancestors, your brothers, and your sisters. You have created a sacred community. We have issued a charge. You've accepted. Asante, Asante, Asante,
Asante,
Asante.
Asante.
Asante, Asante, Asante.
And this poem is for committee. Michael Stewart, Eleanor Bumpers, Amadou Diallo, Ayana Monet Stanley Jones, Trayvon Martin, Ramarley Graham, Akai Gurley, Sandra Bland, Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd. All we must do and carry as we fight for the liberation of African people can make our heads and hands feel too full. If you get weary, my brothers, Sankofa, Gaspar Ganga, Toussaint Louverture, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Samuel Sharp, Denmark Basie, Nat Turner, Gabriel Prosper, Paul Robeson, Vernon Johns, Adam Clayton Powell Jr., Thurgood Marshall, Robert F. Williams, James Baldwin, Medgar Evers, Dr. King, Malcolm X, Huey Newton, Bobby Seale, Fred Hampton, Scott Heron, Amiri Baraka, Nelson Mandela, Sankofa. It is not taboo to go back and fetch what you forgot. Ashe,
Ashe, Ashe, Ashe, Asante.
Brother Obey, will you lead us in the storytelling?
Peace, peace. I'm gonna mute everybody's line. You'll be sure to come off when you need to. Here comes a screen share. We thank everyone for attending our session. Hopefully, you can see what I'm sharing here. This is called our Tet ritual, right? This is where we carry the tree to represent our feeling that we will shoulder the burden of what it means to be a true Black man, a loving Black man for our community. Here is where the Tet comes from. This is the Osaran drama from around 700 BC, from the old times when what they found was new to them, but it was older than them. We're talking something that was old in the 25th dynasty, which is an old time to us. This is part of Memphite theology. In the beginning, before existence existed, there were the primeval waters. Inside the primeval waters, there were the four existential pairs. And then existence becomes aware of itself and forms itself into Ptah, in the form of the primeval hill. And then Atum, or Ra, rises up out of Ptah, or Kepra, the principle of self-creator, becomes aware of itself and then gives birth. This principle then coughs up Shu and spits out Tefnut, and they form the Aeneid. And so there is Geb. Geb is the netter of the earth. And then there is Nut. Nut is the female netter of the sky. They are united in a secondary act of creation, where the first act of self-creation was where Ptah arises from the primeval waters of Noon in the form of the primeval hill. The Geb and Nut give birth to the netters that then take human form. There is Aset, there is Osar, then there is Set, and then there is the lady of the house, Nebhet. Osar, being oldest and wisest, becomes the sovereign of Kemet, and he marries his sister Aset. Osar and Aset then become the sovereigns of Kemet. Osar teaches men civilization. He brings to humanity husbandry. And then Osar leaves Kemet and goes on to civilize other lands. Well, his brother Suti is jealous of Osar's success, and Suti schemes to kill Osar. Set deviously plans a party for Osar's return. At this party, Set tricks Osar into lying down in a chest that only Osar can fit in. When Osar gets in the chest is nailed shut by Set's 72 comrades, and this chest is then thrown into the Nile. It travels for some distance. It washes up on the shore of an island, and there it sits for an extended period of time, and a tamarisk tree grows up around the chest, which holds Osar's body. This is the Tet. Aset, in her love, is distraught, and it is Aset that goes through great trials to find this chest, which holds Osar's body. Aset is victorious in this, and Aset then brings the chest back with brings the Tet with Osar in it back to Kemet. Well, Set is enraged. Set is enraged that Aset has found Osar's body, and he chops Osar's body into 14 pieces and scatters them throughout the land so that Aset cannot find them. However, Aset is undeterred. Aset is determined to reunite her husband brother's body, and it is Aset that diligently finds the 13 of the 14 pieces, but alas, the phallus is missing. Aset then appeals to the scribe, to the one with the magic words, to Tahuti, and Tahuti gives Aset the words of power that Aset uses to fashion a phallus out of Osar's body, out of clay and mud into Osar's body. Aset then, again with the words of power from Tahuti, transforms herself into a bird, and Aset copulates with Osar's phallus. Aset then emerges pregnant with Heru. Heru grows into an adult, and he is enraged that Set has killed his father. Heru and Set fight. Heru is about to defeat Set when Aset, in her love, out of mercy, she intervenes and she asks Heru, do not kill Set, for Set is her brother also. And Heru is so enraged that Aset has interfered with his revenge that Heru attacks Aset, cuts off her head, and throws it into the sky, and then Heru enjoys a period of dominance. That was us sharing the Osaran drama. Remember, this is called the Tet ritual. So Osar then goes through trials. Do you hear, new men of Kemet? Are you listening, new initiates? Osar goes through trials and he has to suffer. And it is only when he suffers that he is then worthy of the love of Aset, where she can come and find him. And then it is Osar that engages in resurrection. I'm going to end my screen share. Y'all can, Natambu, you can come off mute.
Thank you, Brother Obey.
Thank you, Obey.
Ashe, Ashe. There's lessons in those stories. There are lessons in those stories. if we could, we would ask Brothers Aize, Obey, Bilal, and Ayatoro to talk about the achievement of these new brothers.
Yes, thank you, Brother Ntambu. So this has been a totally new experience, to be honest with everyone. This is the first time, given this pandemic, that we have been forced to do a virtual crossing. In years past, we always were up close and personal. And so we have learned many things. One of the things that we were called to focus on in my role was love. How love is all encompassing. And I'm here with my wife, who even just had the recent epiphany that, you know, what we need is love to transform what is even happening with the pain and anguish that is happening globally with our people. And so more love is needed in these times. And these brothers who have traveled from the West to the East, they have shed tears talking about love. They have delved and dug deep to look to see how they might be able to humble themselves, be more reflective, and be able to be sacrificial in their advancement of the cause of African peoples, which is love. And so I have been blessed to work with these brothers, not only on love as a principle, but also talking specifically about how love intersects with the Black woman. And so we have delved into the importance of the complementarity of the African man and the African woman, and the necessity of love in our relationships. Not only love of self, not only love of the creator, not only love of our significant other, love of our children, and love of our community. I have been blessed to work with these brothers in this sense. Ashe.
Ashe.
Blessed are those who struggle. Oppression is worse than the grave. It is better to die for a noble cause than to live and die a slave. Blessed are those who struggle. Oppression is worse than the grave. It is better to die for a noble cause than to live and die a slave. New initiates, formerly Chad, formerly Kofi, formerly Kurt, and formerly the Baba, Malefi Asante. It has been my role to be the force that drives men forward. You have died. You have existed in darkness. Why did you make this journey? You were to transform yourself. I ask you, have you in fact transformed? Have you transformed? What did you transform yourself into? I have tried to be the force for rigor, for discipline, for stress. Trials are necessary. Trials are as necessary for you as they were for Osar. Trials give us the opportunity to struggle. Trials brings forth the opportunity to win. Trials bring forth resurrection.
Brother Bilal.
Ashe, Ashe, Brother Obey. When I was a child, I thought as a child. When I was an adolescent, I thought as an adolescent. When I became an adult, I thought as an adult. Growth is a natural progression, but it is also a process. Growth can be vertical, growth can be horizontal. Its reach is not bound by boundaries. Before starting this process, for which we are gathered here tonight. It was already evident to me that these four brothers' journey on the path of growth had already begun many, many, many years ago. Growth is not stagnant. With every life experience, it continues. These four brothers are the embodiment of continued growth. The completion of this process in which these brothers have went through demonstrate their commitment to continued growth. We are concerned with growth. Ashe.
Ashe.
Shay.
Ashe. Brother Aitoro.
Yes, all African people are connected. The spirit of all Africans who have lived is connected to the spirit of all Africans who are living, is connected to the spirit of all Africans who shall live. Only languages differ that existence, but the spirit of all Africans, those who have passed, those who are living, and those who shall live, all of those spirits are connected. During this process, these brothers grew to understand that more in their lives, that all Africans are connected. All of our spirits are connected. Our expressions, though they may seem different, are actually not different, but they're the same. They're from the same source. They're from the same river. They're from the same ocean. They're from the same place. When you have this existence, then you're able to move forward with strength and with power. When you understand that you're an African and you have tapped into the African spirit, then you understand that your power is unmeasurable. Your power is extraordinary. Your power is always there. You just have to make sure that you focus on your connection to that power and make sure that you tie yourself into that power and know how to move forward within that. These brothers moved forward in realizing their connection to that African power. And they shall go on to do very good things for their families, for their communities, and for our nation. Ashe.
Ashe.
Hey. Brother Aize. Still on mute, good brother.
Yes, thank you. We're gonna ask if the former travelers who are now new members of Kemet, if they would prepare themselves for the tasting ritual. So if you would please gather each of the elements. Now, again, in my role, I help to focus upon the necessity of love. And just as a child newly born into the world, one of the first elements that that child needs for sustenance, that that child needs to grow, that that child needs for life is milk. The child, in being blessed by the Creator and the Creator's infinite wisdom, the mother is positioned to be able to suckle that child with the necessary milk of life. And so we're gonna ask if the new brothers of Kemet are ready for the tasting of the milk. Before, I would like to read just a small proverb. we look to leave two things to our children. One is roots, the other is wings. Milk gives the sustenance and the strength to travel with those wings. So if the new men of Kemet would each, one by one, take some of the milk.
I have been the force that drives men forward. Formerly, Molefe used to be Kurt, used to be known as Kofi, who used to be Chad. Take that pepper, put it deep in your tongue, and suck on it and make it burn. Pain is transformative. Pain allows us the opportunity to overcome it. As an ancient African priest said, the seeing of the eyes, the hearing of the ears, the smelling of the nose, these report to the mind. And that is what causes every perception to come forth. It is the tongue that repeats what the mind thinks. Therefore, it is through what the mind thinks and the tongue directs that the whole divine order comes about. The child of a rat is a rat. You will reap what you sow. So remember to sow good things. Ashe.
Initiates, the cup of water. Please take a drink. Without water, there's no growth. Without growth, there's no progress. Without growth, there is no progress. Water is life. Water is life, that substance that keeps us going when we do not want to. Water is substance, that life that keeps us going. Through rough times, through struggles, that essential element of water, it keeps us going. Water is growth. Without growth, there's no progress. You, gentlemen, have demonstrated that quality of water to provide life, to provide growth. Growth, life, water. Brothers, keep growing. Ashe.
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 Brothers, next we have some honey. Please take some of that in. Through all of the journeys of life, you have the times where you make achievements and you're able to experience some of the sweetness in life. The sweetness of a graduation, the sweetness of a child being born, the sweetness of traveling to places that you like to travel to. All of those elements of sweetness are also important. We do have our struggle, we do have our progress that we need to make, but we do have to also experience the sweetness in that life so that we can gain our bearing and be able to from then move forward. The sweetness that you all have developed in your relationships has been very productive. You have learned very much about each other and have grown very much together. Though you are in different cities, you have still been able to grow and achieve things together. May your bonds continue to grow. May you continue to be as sticks that are bound together, because the sticks that are bound together cannot be broken. May your bond with each other not be broken. May your bonds with your brothers in the larger brotherhood not be broken. May the bonds that we have here on this call with everyone, may those bonds not be broken as well. Let us remember the sweetness in life as we strive to deal with everything else in our lives. Ashe.
Ashe. Thank you, Brother Ayatoro. The symbology, if I could quote the great Dr. Obey Shabaka. Let's just
Brother Nutamo, could I just real quickly?
Go ahead.
If the new brothers of Kemet would leave to go get their burden, and then after the drum call, we will call each of them individually to re-enter into the ritual. Go ahead. Yes, Nutamo, excuse me.
No problem. No problem. Keep me on point, brother. So as I was quoting the great Dr. Obey Shabaka, the symbology of the moment not lost on us. The symbology of this moment. We're in a crisis, and we are at the same time celebrating life. Those of us who lived in the West, journey to the East, know that it is possible and know that there's duality in struggle and happiness. So we count our victories where we can, and we keep pushing, keep fighting. So I want to say to all of us who are in the chat, who are connected by memories, love, and friendship, and family bonds, it is good to see us, and we know that no matter how far apart we may be, we're still together. So a brotherly bond that has bound many of us in the name of Kemet will continue, and we're committed to providing new life, new energy, and new power to equal brothers as we welcome them to the fold. I want to say at this particular time that, like all families, we'll have our trials, we'll have our tribulations. The key thing to remember is what binds us together. What's our purpose? What's our common cause? So when we get lost, when we get tired, we take a rest, but we don't quit, we don't stop. So with that being said, one of the things that I wanted to also encourage as we continue to move through this time is to take care of ourselves, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Take care of ourselves. Oftentimes as warriors, we're so committed to the fight that we forget that our health is critical to that fight, not just so that we can continue fighting, but so that those who depend on us, our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our cousins, our family, our fictive kin, those who depend on us, they need us healthy, they need us whole. So do what you can to take care of your dome and take care of your people. So with that said, I am yielding the floor to good brother Ayatoro.
Ayatoro, I don't know that we're hearing you.
You can hear me?
It's just low.
Now, yeah.
It's just low.
I'm going to ask the new Kemet brother, formerly known as Malefe Kite Asante, to come forward. Ashe. I'm going to ask the new Kemet brother, formerly known ask Kurt Young to come forward. Ashe. I'm going to ask the new Kemet brother, formerly known as Chad Winston Dennis, to come forward. Ashe. I'm going to ask the new Kemet brother, formerly known as Kofi Boone, to come forward. Now I'm going to ask the new Kemet brothers, in the order that they just came forward, to please give your declaration of intent.
Ashe. I, Titi, formerly called Molefi, Titi Maflo Fanus Dankar, my pledge is to work for the community, to maintain a sense of devotion and dedication to Kemet, to help to build Kemet, to remain true to the principles of spirituality and physicality that are fundamental to Kemet. We have learned many things in our crossing. We have come from the West and we have gone to the East. We have been through the Amenta and we have had great training. So I pledge to continue the training that we have learned from the Kintinu, who have taught us many, many things about this organization. Ashe.
I, Akinyele Bitan, formerly Kurt Young, pledge in the name of my ancestors, Arthur Green Jr., Owen Young Sr., Richard Young, Matilda Thurton, and many, many others, that I will dedicate my skills, my talents, all my strengths to the vision of the unification of African people and the liberation of our situation wherever we are on the planet. I give thanks to the brothers of Kemet for helping me through this process. I've come to bond with my dear brothers, and I appreciate the opportunity to invite my family to this discussion tonight, to this ceremony tonight. My dear wife, Arna Young, is here. My dear brother, Kareem Young, is here. And I stand before them with pride and just full of energy and love right now. Ashe.
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 I, Ajani Kazi Kemet, will dedicate my life to the liberation of African people, first working on my self-development so that I can be an asset to the bigger community. Ashe.
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 I, Marathi Uwazeye Kemet, pledge to continue to carry the collective burden of our people, passed from our ancestors, using the teachings of our teachers, to work collectively with all of us, to pass that to the next generation for the advancement of all African people. Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe. And now, Brother Ayatoro will lead the naming ritual.
Actually, you can put your
burden down.
You may put your burden down. Obviously, your burdens are still with you. This is just a brief reprise from them. So we'll start with Baba Malefi. Please tell everyone who you were born as.
Yes. Yes, I was born as Molefi Kete Asante. Originally, my slave name was Arthur Smith, but my name was changed to one who keeps the traditions, Molefi, in 1972. But tonight, I have become Titi, which is a name that reflects the new transformation. And it is Titi Mafulo Fanu Dankor Kemet. And Kemet is extremely important. I am delighted to have this new name, and also that my wife and my 2 sons and my granddaughter are here with me. Ashe.
And we are happy for who you have become. Let the village say amen.
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 Brother Kofi, rise. Please state your original birth name.
My original birth name is Kofi Malik Boone.
And Osar, who have you become?
I've become Marathi Uwazeye Kemet.
Tell us once again, who have you become?
I become Marathi Uwazeye Kemet.
Village, say amen.
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 Brother Chad, please tell us your original birth name.
Chad Winston Dennis.
And Osar, who have you become?
Johnny Kazi Kemet.
Village, let that be established.
Amen.
Amen.
And Brother Kurt, please tell us your original given name.
My original given name is Kurt Beresford Young.
Osar, who have you become?
I become Akinyele Bitan Kemet.
Village, let it be established.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Come on, village, y'all can do better than that.
Amen.
Amen.
So Brother Chad has become Ajani Kazi Kemet. Ajani is a Yoruba term which means one who possesses after struggle, and Kazi roughly translates to work or hard worker. And Kemet is the land of the black. So we have Ajani Kazi Kemet.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Kurt has become Akinyele Bitan Kemet. Akinyele is a Yoruba term which means a strong one befits the house. Bitan is a Bambara term meaning born after a long wait in the land of the black. Akinyele Bitan Kemet.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Baba Malefi has become Iti Mukulu Manus Nanfor Kemet. Iti Mukulu is a Bimba term from Zambia meaning a great tree. Manus is a name from Eritrea, Ethiopia, a bright light or a lantern. And Donkor is a humble person. Came in from the land of the black. Let it be established.
Amen.
Right, yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
So it is.
Brother Kofi has become Marathi Uwizeye Kemet. Marathi is a Kikuyu term meaning a wise man. Uwizeye is a term from Rwanda. Trust in God, He will give you everything. And healing is from the land of the black. Marathi Uwizeye Kemet. Village.
Amen. Amen.
The village welcome our four new African brothers into the Brotherhood of Kemet. Village, let's all give them a strong hand.
Amen.
So we give thanks. Woo! So again, we give thanks for each and every one of you. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks. Now, I want to take a privilege of a brother of Kemet to, if I was wearing my hat, I would have to tip it to the formerly known Molefi Kete Asante. And I just want to give just a few moments just to really give thanks. There is a saying by the Wolof that a person should have as his companion someone who is older than himself. Baba Molefi is not only a internationally known Baba, who many of us as men of Kemet, we have his work on our wall in our libraries. Not only is the Baba a father, but Baba Molefi is a grandfather. He literally is old enough to be our fathers. And for Baba Molefi to yield and humble himself to younger brothers to go through a rites of passage is tremendous. And for all of us, we ought to realize the lesson that this Baba has displayed in humility. And so for us as brothers in Kemet, we have had this transformative moment on so many levels. So not only are we the first time ever virtual, this is the first time that we have ever had brothers in separate states. So we got four different states represented. Atlanta, Georgia. We have Chapel Hill, North Carolina. We have Washington, D.C., and we have Philadelphia, Pennsylvania represented. We have never done something as such. But not only that, we have never had an elder as such who is accomplished as Baba Molefi Asante is to have gone through the process. And so we ourselves have been humbled, and we ought to learn a lesson in humility from Baba Molefi's, just his example. And if I could even say that to be real, right? That's what the young folks say. We gotta keep it real. Kemet has experienced a lull in our brotherhood. We had not been living up to that which we were commanded and even called upon by our ancestors to do of late. And Baba Molefi gave the keynote 6 years ago at the 30th anniversary of the Nile Valley conference that we did there at Morehouse. And during his keynote address, he put it on the table and he said, brothers at Kemet, why don't you look to have me become a brother of Kemet? He said, you know, I'm Molefi Kiti Asante, and I have been approached by numerous Greek letter organizations to become a member of their organization. He said, what would it look like for Molefi Kiti Asante to be a Black Greek? He said, you know, coming out of Brooklyn, we would say that's non-cipher. That doesn't even add up. That doesn't make any sense. And so he said, the brothers of Kemet, you need to go ahead and design a process so that I can become a brother of Kemet. And so with that fire that was put under the men of Kemet, here it might have taken us a little time, but here we come forward with this new process. And again, I say, Madase, Madase, Madase. Come on, let the village say,
There's a true mark of leadership when the leader is doing the quote unquote dirty work. And it teaches all of us a lesson of humility and something that we can all put in our toolboxes as leaders in our respective communities, that there isn't a task that's too small. And you never know who's watching. There are always people watching. So if you're willing to do that, it can really build solidarity and increase morale. So that message is not lost, Brother Aize. So at this point in time, again, I am so grateful and humbled by the presence of everyone in this space. At this point in time, I want to open up the conversation to our community, and we want to acknowledge the elders who may be in the chat who have seen these four brothers make this move and join the Brotherhood of Kemet. So I wanted to invite them if they had words of encouragement or anything that they would want to say. And then once the elders have had their say, we want to again open it up for family, friends, the youth, as also an opportunity to speak to what's happening. So if you are a relative of these brothers, after the elders have had an opportunity, if there's something you want to say, word of encouragement, we would invite you to the space. So if there are elders present in the chat, got like 3 pages of chat. If there are elders present, please.
Actually, Natama, you probably can move past that first part. I don't see.
I'm scrolling through I don't see any. I know that they're here in spirit, but at this point in time, I know family is here, so I don't want to take up too much time. So if one of your family members has just joined the Brotherhood of Kemet, this is your time. Word of encouragement, support, love. The floor is yours.
Man, I want to say family or friends.
Yes. Thank you, brother.
Please don't be shy.
Brother.
Congratulations, Nana. This is Ayana.
Oh, Ayana, yes.
Congratulations.
My granddaughter. Good.
Thank you, sister.
Hello, my name is Arna, and this is for my husband, Kurt. Congratulations. I'm very proud of you. And I just want to say that I know this is going to be an amazing experience for you.
Ashe. This is MK Asante Jr. You know, my father, Molefi Kete Asante. I'm extremely proud of him in this moment. You know, when he told me he was doing this, that this organization and here virtually with you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Be with you every night consistently, giving his all. I've seen him do many things, obviously, you know, scholarly, inspire people, teach people, do all types of humanitarian things, do things for the family, sacrifice. But this was special and unique. And as you mentioned, growth, incredible growth to see someone, an elder born in 1942, you know, in Valdosta, Georgia, has
Well.
accomplished everything he's accomplished. And then, you know, again, like I say, to join this organization and be a part of this brotherhood and be committed, you know, and carry the burden and, you know, be named, it's really phenomenal for me to see, and it's a teaching moment. And so I'm very proud of you, Dad. I think it's incredible. I love you, and you know, you've been an amazing example as a father to me and many. So I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Wow.
Hey, Uncle. Hey, Uncle Malefi, it's Kaya, Joshua,
Yeah,
Christian,
Kaya. That's my
Jamar.
nephew, right?
Hey, good. Hey, we just want to say congratulations, and
Wow.
we're proud of you.
Thank you.
Making a step.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you.
All right.
Greetings. Greetings. I'd like to speak on the behalf of Kurt B. Young. This is his brother, and I thank you, all you brothers, for introducing him into this process. And I speak on behalf of the ancestors, allied spirits, those protective deities, those known and unknown who have consistently and continuously supported us. They are here raising you up. You are now Akinyele, and I can tell you that your ancestors are more than proud, and they are supporting you in this process. They've always been here. So I'm so vibrating right now with their presence, and I just want to let you know, brother, that I'm proud of you. You're this new baby, but you've always been doing that work, man, and it is innate inside of you, and it's something that's just another level of shine. But I just give thanks, and I share.
Okay.
Is there anyone left who may want to say something?
Happy belated Father's Day.
Right. Well, again, I want to say thank you to everyone. This is energizing. It's energizing. I think sometimes we are off in our own spaces, and there's something very powerful about harnessing this energy and then going out feeling recharged to do the work that we're doing. And I know many of you are committed to this on a daily. And when you're out there dealing with life challenges, sometimes you forget that there is a village that has your back. And so a smile, somebody saying, I love you, affirming your humanity, affirming your African-centeredness is so powerful. So I am encouraged, I am uplifted just by seeing so many smiling faces, some I haven't seen in years. So I am grateful and thankful to everyone. And on behalf of the Brotherhood of Kemet, we are grateful and thankful that you are here. And it is so good to see the village and to be uplifted by the village. We are as good as we can be when we have the support of the village. So, Ashe.
Ashe.
Yeah.
Ashe.
Say one thing.
Baba Obe, yes.
We just want to say one thing in closing in terms of on behalf of Offset. We are very, very grateful and proud of your Kemet's determination and consistency in staying the course. You know that in these times, it's very challenging and hard for you as African men to be African men and to be safe. And, you know, and we just want to say that we support you in your work and your family's work, the things that we cannot see, but that we know that you are doing. And we pray for your continued healing for all of us as African people. We know that we are at war, and the attack is within the spirit, within ourselves. So charging all of us to continue to push, to elevate each other, to push past our difficulties, because that is the key to our liberation. Our enemy expects us to fail. Our
Yes.
enemy expects us to fight against one another, but we will win.
That's right.
Yeah,
So,
preach.
you know,
right.
we just wanted
Yes,
to
yes.
say that and to uplift you because you uplift us.
Yes, yes.
Tradition, it is the role of the father who gives and shapes the identity of the child, of the daughter and the son.
Yes.
So you matter to us.
Yes.
Yes.
Your strengths, your ability to overcome. And I want to thank the elders, all of you all, because when we were going through back in the day, we were in our 20s. And to sit here and for you as men to say, I'm willing to submit, I'm willing to submit and to be humble. It says a lot.
Ashe.
Ashe.
So rise up.
Ashe.
Rise up
That's right.
in all that you do for yourself, for your family.
Rise up.
Because it's going to come through, not in the words that you speak, but in how you walk and the presence that comes in when you walk in a room or when someone comes to think of you. So, you know, just again on helping us as women to be the environment we can be safe so we can sit comfortably on our throne as offset. And together we will restore the order of African manhood and African womanhood and African familyhood. It is this time that is the coming of the great mother in the universe.
Ashe.
So what that means is that in 2036, it's the rise of Offset to seat on her throne. In 2056, it's coming of the great African king to return in the form of us as African melanated people. This is a war that we are fighting internally and we will win. So again, we just wanted to say thank you. And you have this tip right here. To see this gives us a sense of safety as women.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Power.
Ashe. Well said, Sister Sante.
Ashe.
Sante.
Ashe.
Asante.
This is Brother Anda Wije. That was powerful. Speechless. I hate to come after that. I felt that. I did want to pass along a message from a group of brothers for Kofi. The brothers, we've known each other, some of us going back to middle school in Michigan, and we all have spoken to each other probably, I don't think we missed a week really in the past 25 years. Brothers have held me up, we've held each other up, a strong brotherhood in its own right, very accomplished brothers, very well-meaning, humble, intellectually curious, and they wanted to pass a message on to Kofi as well, that they're proud of what he's done in finding an additional brotherhood that's additive to his search and his growth. So I just wanted to pass that along. Also, there was someone who reached out to me, there's a sister on here who was interested in the Sisterhood of Osset. So if there's any information you all can give now, or maybe to the brothers or give to me, I would love to pass it on to her. Just want to put that out there.
Thank you.
You can get with Arturo and you can get my number from her. This is Nozabeli Offset.
Thank you, sister, for your interest.
Yes, Asante Sana.
Brother Obe, you have any final thoughts?
Actually, Natambu, did we want to let each of the new brothers say something?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Yeah, maybe let them, each of them speak, and then Obe can close us out.
Don't forget the question in the chat. If you're interested, who can they talk to?
So, Brother Akinyele, would you like to start?
I would. 1992, about 30 years ago, I came to Atlanta for grad school, and I came into contact with some beautiful people at a very powerful time in history. We all remember those who are on this conversation who were in Atlanta in the 1980s into the early and mid 1990s. Remember what Atlanta was like, and so it was in that moment, in that zeitgeist, I met a few brothers on this call right now on this Zoom. One of them I think is responsible for me being here. My dear brother Obey Shabaka. We've been friends for many, many years, and I appreciate him and his support. And I was humbled by the fact that you asked me to be a part of this effort. Also, back at that time, I met another dear brother, Brother Ayatoro, and I've always admired Ayatoro from a distance, and I appreciate the fact now that I can call him brother within the context of Kemet as an organization. But there's one other brother that I want to recognize in this discussion. You know, again, in the 1990s, it was a very powerful moment, and it was dotted by expressions or outbursts of the revolutionary spirit. We didn't transform the world like we wanted to, but we were in it. We were trying. And I can remember in 1992, 1993, in the early to mid 1990s, there was one brother who I recognized at so many different political movements and outbursts and cultural expressions, whether it was the Rodney King protests, to the Spike Lee, Malcolm X debates we would have in the library, to the discussions that we would have. And I look up the other night, last night, and since then I always wondered what happened to this brother. And I look up and I see a face here, and I'm looking at his face and I'm trying to remember. And then I realized who it is. And it is my dear brother Yafue. I remember him as Alwan. In fact, I found an old notebook with my brother's number when we were trying to get down and do different things back in the 90s. And I didn't know at the time that he was a brother Kemet. I think I met him through a mutual friend by the name of Ilya Davis. And so I'm just sitting here shaking my head and then just remembering this brother and now connecting the dots almost 30 years later. I'll stop there. And again, I want to repeat my deep love and thanks to my dear wife, Arna, and how moved I was by her words and my brother Kareem. Thank you all. Sorry for taking so long here.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
I say.
Brothers and sisters, I just would like to say that the lights of Ra in Kemet and the sisters of Aset, that the idea was correct when it was formed. The organization was timely then. It is even more timely now. And Kemet is the most perfect example of what we ought to be about in terms of sibling organizations. So I am a partner, and one of these days maybe I will recruit my nephew and my son into the organization, because it is it's suitable for us. It is just the correct thing for Black people. There's no way around it. I mean, and the consciousness that we have and the consciousness you have, this is a consciousness that we need. And in fact, it is a consciousness that has now been disseminated and distributed generally among our younger people, younger generation. It is the work of Kemet and organizations like Kemet that have got the people out there fired up, because now they know knowledge that they didn't know before. Nobody knew much about Ma'at or the Nile Valley civilizations or any of this information about Black people being the original, and so forth. But now they know it, and it's because of Kemet. So let's push forward. Let's go on. This is our time.
Yes, sir.
Ashe, ashe.
Ashe.
Brother Johnny or Brother Marathi?
I just want to give thanks to the Connecticut group. I know that for many of you, this is unfamiliar. We knew the story about what you had to do to go on your crossing. We honor that. I'll say for me that I've never met a half-stepping Kemet brother. That was really the tipping point for me. Shaka was the first one I met. We worked together for many years in Detroit, saw how he carried himself and how he handled his business, and admired it. Andal was second, and as he mentioned earlier, we've known each other for over 20 years, and the same. Brother Yize was here recently in North Carolina with me, and we spent many hours in my living room talking politics, family, life, God, all things. And so I'm just humble and greatly appreciative to have made it through the crossing and been able to join you all, and excited to work and move forward. So I give thanks.
Ashe.
I would like to give thanks to the Brotherhood of Kemet and the Sisterhood of Aset. When I came to Howard University, I met some dynamite brothers across the street at a place called the Lights of the Garden. And I heard about them because I had a cousin that went to Morehouse. And I heard about this community or this brotherhood called Kemet. And some of the brothers that I met was Aize, Imar, Pateri, and Anu, and also Mama Rhonda. And they always been really dynamite, forward, loving people. And they embraced me then like I was one of their brothers. And I have worked with them in, restaurants, nonprofits, and I just am humbled by the experience and the love. So Madasi.
More.
All right, so I think, Baba Obe, I think it's on you, brother, to bring us home.
Well, let's offer some prayers up. Thank you, everyone, for coming to, our virtual Tet ceremony. Very humbled that everyone decided to come out. Let's assume a position of reverence. Oh, great God of our ancestors. 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 In the spirit of the four Neteru that we hold dear, in the spirit of family and community, in the spirit of two-ness that becomes oneness as men and women join together to grow family, that grow community, that grow strong people that will be victorious over these harsh times that we live in. Oh, great God of our ancestors, we thank you for allowing us as a people to engage the trials that we are undergoing right now. Oh, great God of our ancestors, they are shooting us in the back. They are kneeling on our neck. They are trying to bury us, but they did not know that we are seeds. We exist in the principle of resurrection, and we will rise again. So, oh great God of our ancestors, we thank you for allowing this boat to reach the shore where there's life and love and family and community, and the sisters of our set, and the families and the children and the wives and my mama and daddy being up here. We thank you for all these things, and in the spirit of love and hope and a victorious future, we say amen.
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 I'm gonna stop the recording, so now we can say what we want to say.